I hear so many women say, well, I didn't really like him, but I ended the date saying, I don't see a romantic connection, but let's be friends.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Second Act TV. So happy to welcome back dating coach and relationship expert, Sandy Weiner. Sandy, thanks so much for being here again today.
Great to join you again, Selka.
Love having you here. You're always full of great advice. And you brought a topic to my attention that I didn't really even realize it was such a big topic, but it is post dating friendship. Can you be friends with somebody you've dated or had a relationship with? And apparently, a lot of people wonder about this, and a lot of people they put that out there, but maybe for not the right reasons. Talk to me about that. Why is this so important?
Well, as a dating coach for almost 14 years or so, I hear so many women say, well, I didn't really like him, but I ended the date saying, I don't see a romantic connection, but let's be friends.
Mhm.
And I think it's like almost like an auto response. Let's be friends. And I don't think people really think much about that. Like, do you really want to be their friend? Are you just trying to not hurt their feelings? And I think for a lot of people, it's just a way to try to let somebody down kindly. They think that it's a kinder thing to do, but I disagree. I think it's not really honest. And for the most part, there are some times that we do want friendship because we do see a potential for friendship or a business connection or some other thing other than romance.
Mhm.
But for the most part, if the date doesn't work out, you usually don't feel a connection.
Mhm.
And why would you want to offer friendship if you don't feel it?
No, I agree. I even sometimes, when we have these shows and I'm talking to different experts and, and we advise, just get out there. You're not looking for, your new husband or your new wife. No, you can just meet a new friend. But in a way, that's really not what we're doing. We're not out there to meet friends. We are there to meet a connection. And the whole friendship thing it really is more of an issue, I think, than we might think.
Yes. And I don't know about you, but as I get older, I have fewer and fewer friends because I'm much more discerning about who I want to hang out with.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking to build a friendship base with a bunch of random people who I have a minor connection with. It might be nice to have an acquaintance, might be nice to keep these people in mind for other people if they're really awesome people. But friendship, probably not so much. So I
Yeah.
think that we have to just really check in with ourselves. Do we really want a friendship or are we just feeling bad that we're ending things? If we can remember that dating is mostly a bunch of no's, it's not going to work out. And so why is it so hard to just say it doesn't feel like a good match?
Right. You said that there's a few questions you should ask yourself. I think you just said one of them, but do you really want to be their friend? Uh, do you like them enough to be friends? That's a really, really great question. Yeah, and of course, are you trying to protect their feelings? So, what is your suggestion then? You realize, no, I really don't. So, how do I end this and not hurt their feelings if that's possible?
Well, it's not our job to protect people's feelings. I think that's the first thing to clarify. We're not out there to hurt people, but we're also not protectors of other people's feelings. That's their job.
Mhm.
We are all responsible for our emotions. And so if you show up and you're kind and you set boundaries with people and you say, I don't feel it, I'm not feeling the romantic connection I'm looking for, that's enough. You don't need to then say, oh, I hope please don't feel bad. Or
Mhm.
people say these things in such crazy ways. Like, I don't think I'm the right person for you. Well, no, you're not the right person for me. So why am I turning the script around and saying it in this backwards way that again is like, I'm trying to take care of you. I
Mhm.
don't think I'm the right woman that you're looking for. No, actually, I might be, but you're not right for me. It seems so silly, but we really, if we just work on honesty and kindness, thank them. Say, it was nice meeting you. Really, thank you for coming out to meet me. Thank you for the lovely dinner. Thank you for meeting me for a drink. Unfortunately, I'm not feeling the romantic connection I'm looking for, and I wish you well. I wish you all the best. Good luck on your search.
Yeah. You mentioned something about a sandwich. What the sandwich talk? What was that? I thought that was nice guidance for somebody that struggles with this.
Yeah, so we call that the appreciation sandwich. So
Yeah.
whenever you want to say something that's a little bit difficult, or just to say something with a little bit of cushion, you begin and end with appreciation. So nice to meet you, really nice to get to know you. Appreciate you coming out. Put the thing in the middle, I don't feel the connection, and then the end is appreciation too. It's you're ending with kindness. I wish you all the best. Thank you for listening, whatever. And this is true for any difficult conversation that you're going to have in relationships. You start and end with appreciation.
What about turning it around? You mentioned that as well. Is what if you're romantically attracted and then you're the one that hears, that they're not feeling it, but gosh, let's be friends. How do you
Yeah.
handle that?
Yeah, it's just not going to work. you
Hmm.
know Whenever there's an uneven relationship, if one person's attracted and the other one's not, the person who's not attracted is not going you're not going to go in hoping that they're going to build an attraction. I mean, a lot of people do that, and it's very hurtful when you start to have hope and you have expectations that, well, if I just hang out with them long enough, they're going to fall in love with me. That's a recipe for failure, and I don't recommend it. I mean, there's a very tiny chance that it could happen, but it's so small that chances are you're going to be hurt.
Yeah.
So think about yourself. Is this really what I want? And always, we're so focused on other people. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to do the wrong thing. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want them to not like me. But what do you want? We don't usually turn it around and ask ourselves, so is this going to work for me? That they want to be my friend when I'm really attracted to them? If it doesn't work for you, no.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, but I'm really looking for a relationship.
Yeah.
There are so many people out there who want to date you but don't really feel a commitment to dating.
Mhm.
And it's the same kind of thing. They say they want to date you, it's not working for you. They're not bad people, it's just this isn't working. It doesn't seem like we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of thing. They could be dating you as a date, but
Mhm.
they're not escalating the relationship. It's not going anywhere. You're
Yeah.
looking for serious, they're kind of casual. Not
Yeah.
going to work.
Yeah. So don't open yourself up to that kind of hurt or waste of time. Let's take it a step further now. You've been in a relationship for a bit, maybe a couple months, maybe a couple of years. And then the breakup comes, as in many cases it inevitably does. And the whole, let's be friends, or can we be friends? We actually did a video on, whether or not men and women can be friends, period. That was kind of interesting, but that's a whole other discussion, I guess. But the idea of eventually being friends again with your ex, what do you think about that?
None of this is one size fits all, but I do think that it is really difficult to be friends with somebody, especially if it's fresh. If
Mhm.
the relationship has just ended, there's just so much water under the bridge. It's really hard to just transition into a platonic relationship.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a reason why it ended. However, if a relationship has ended amicably, both of you have moved on, time has passed, you're both in another relationship, I think sometimes in those cases it can work, but very rarely. And again, there's usually an uneven desire. Like one person may have ended the relationship and the other one maybe didn't want it to end.
Mhm.
So the one who ended it said, well, let's be friends. I
Mhm.
mean, it happened to me once. I was dating somebody and he did something really hurtful. And I said, I'm done. You really were unkind
Mhm.
and I don't want to see you anymore. And please don't contact me. I mean, I was like really clear, this is not working for me.
Mhm.
And he said, but can't we be friends? And I said, you're not my friend. a friend wouldn't have done what you did to me. So I don't want to be in your life anymore, and it was just done.
Yeah.
You crossed a line and this is not a friendship.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself again, does this feel like a friend? Is
Mhm.
this going to work for me? Do I want more? Will
Mhm.
this be okay? Why do I want to be their friend? Am I just doing it because they want me to? We have to really just take the time to really process, is this going
Yeah.
to work for me?
I think another important question to ask yourself is, what would a friendship with my ex, if you feel like you really could be, and people are listening, they're going to go, well, of course you can. We're doing it, whatever. And please leave your comments, ask your questions. I think that's an interesting topic. But what would a friendship that you're carrying on with your ex, what does that mean to your future romantic relationships? I have a pretty strong opinion on that. I'll ask you first.
Well, a lot of times people don't move on and they
Mhm.
do stay with the hope that somehow this other person is going to become more, or they compare every person they date to the person they were in love with before
Mhm.
because they haven't really ended. There's a book called The Good Divorce, I think it was called, and it was really about those boundaries, that a good divorce means you actually have boundaries now that you're divorced. You're not like, still hanging out and having family parties together and going away on vacations together. It's a really confusing thing. Like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
And I've seen relationships post divorce break up because the marriage never really ended. And it's such a confusing thing. Like, you've got to know this is done and this is the new thing. And so there definitely is that risk that you take when you stay friends. You have to have clear boundaries.
Mhm.
So if you are to remain friends, and I agree with you, I think it is a complicated thing. I think it's very hard not to be, it's hard to be friends with the opposite sex if there is any inkling of any kind of attraction.
Mhm.
And there often is. It's often hard to just separate completely. I have not seen it work very often. What are your feelings on this, Silka?
Yeah, I think it can't. To me, it would be unacceptable if to carry on a friendship with an ex. I personally, maybe I have a little bit of an anxious attachment style anyway, so something like that would absolutely not work for me. But I think it really wouldn't for most people. I mean, you can be gracious. Oh yeah, they're just friends, and hey, I understand. Isn't that neat? To me, it doesn't work. But again, I really look forward to hearing comments on this, because apparently this comes up a lot. After you and I talked, I think I said it earlier, I did some Googling on it. And yeah, this is a big conversation that people think about, and frankly worry about. Well, we can probably go on forever about it. What didn't we talk about, Sandy? Is there anything else, some other word of wisdom you have on this topic?
I just think we need to really define what friendship is and what it means to us, and really think before you try to protect somebody's feelings. I think that's the overarching idea behind all of this, is that we should stop trying to make other people feel better at the cost of making us feel worse. Because in the long run, if this isn't going to work for you, why open this up? Why even start it? Just end things, and some people really have a hard time ending things. They continue with everybody, they're friends with everyone, they wear it as a badge of courage. I remember I had a podcast guest many years ago on Last First Date Radio where the woman said, I am friends with all my exes. And I was like, you're proud of that? I'm very like, we're done. I have to end things. It's just really, I think the only time I ever started a friendship when a date didn't work out was when I met a guy who, from the start, told me he was still living with his wife. They
Mhm.
were separated, they were living together. It was so fresh. And I said, we're having such a great conversation. I'd be happy to meet you, but I'm
Mhm.
not going to date you.
Yeah.
And we met up once. And it was such a fun time. It was actually in a group. It was a party, and and then we talked about traveling together, which
Mhm.
I've never done before. And so we drove like a 6-hour trip
Mhm.
and had so much fun together. And we were
Mhm.
staying like down the block from each other in this little community. And the first night he walks me back to where I'm staying and he goes to kiss me. And I was like, what? I
Yeah,
thought it was really clear. We're not dating.
right.
And he didn't get the memo. So,
Mhm.
but we did remain friends for a while. And he actually got remarried and he ended it when his relationship got really serious. And I thought we were just happy being
Mhm.
friends, but I guess he felt differently.
Yeah. Well, and
So,
that
yeah.
started off on a whole different premise than romance. Like you said, you didn't date, and certainly, yes, you can become friends with somebody you meet. I'm not poo-pooing that, and I'm also not saying that by ending it or cutting it off completely that you're just at odds with this person by any means.
Mhm.
Sure, hey, if I run across all my exes, we'd be hi, good to see you, but we don't set out to see each other, and
Yeah,
I
we're
think
not hanging out.
that's the
Right.
difference. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Good
Well,
distinction.
yeah. Well, Sandy, thank you again. We'll, as always, link to all of your information. Sandy is an absolutely fabulous dating coach. You have you have a Facebook group that I guess I should qualify. It's just for women. I'll link to it in our show notes.
Mhm.
But lots of topics come out of that that men actually need to know about. We're going to discuss one of them on our next segment. So thank you, Sandy, and we'll see you again soon on Second Act TV. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right here. Just click on through to YouTube, and when you see the little bell right next to the subscribe button, hit that too, and we'll notify you every time we launch a new video. See you next time.